Hey guys, welcome to another League of Legends commentary. Today we're going to be playing some support Mundo, which is just absolutely wonderful. This is one of the few supports that I have been playing as of late that I don't think many other people do play themselves. This is something I saw some other people do back in, I think, Season 3, early Season 3, when I was still kind of experimenting with a bunch of different champions, and I really liked it. I really thought that the Mundo support, even if it wasn't played well by that other person, I really enjoyed watching it. And so I have played about, I would say 20 plus games or so of Mundo support, something along those lines. And I've adjusted my rune pages, my mastery pages, and I think I got something pretty decent set up. Now, obviously, it's not fantastic in every single situation. Janna is usually a pretty difficult matchup, and today we're up against a Janna and Ezreal. The big reason that this lane goes so smoothly is because they make a few mistakes early, and the fact that Ezreal goes for the Tear of the Goddess Manamune build, which is, I mean, it's not a bad build per se, but it's not a very good build early on, especially when you're behind. If you want to be able to just farm the entire time, the entire game, and then end up late game with some big power and some like huge cooldown reduction and Iceborne Gauntlet action, yeah, no, Blue Ezreal is pretty good for that. But if you want to win early game and like not get totally tooled on, try not to build Tear of the Goddess as your first item. That's my big suggestion for you. Anywho, so yeah, we got a Quinn AD carry this time. We got a Rengar jungle rather, and yeah, I'm playing Mundo support. The Quinn pick was actually very good because the enemy team picked Master Yi, and Master Yi is very susceptible to the blinds that that Quinn can put down. Also, the vaulting backwards for Quinn is really useful. So you see, I give a couple cleavers on the Grump, and then a bunch of auto attacks to give Rengar very hard leash, and then I hit blue 2 times with cleavers, which does approximately 650 damage. I didn't actually measure how much it was perfectly, but approximately 650 damage of the 2,000 health that it has. And everything's pretty good, because it gives Rengar a very fast jungle clear speed, and it gives us a pretty good jungle, pretty good chance of getting some good ganks later in the game. It does, however, force me to come into lane late and miss a couple of minions. That's the only downside. Excuse me. Please and thank you. But yeah, other than that, you saw how it went. I got a late level 2. I'm still not level 2 yet. But as you saw, because Janna overextended a little bit at level 1, I was able to hit her in the face with the cleaver and just go onto her and hit her with some... Oh man, that's a mistake right there. I don't think you remember that my exhaust was still up. So, yeah, we saw them use their exhaust and their heal. Those are 2 of their biggest summoners right there. They got very greedy for the Quinn. I'm pretty sure they completely forgot that I had exhaust and that Quinn also had heal. And so by using both of those while being higher in HP and having more minions than them, it just essentially guaranteed that Ezreal was going to die. That was a pretty silly play. That was a very greedy play. There was really no chance of it happening, of it actually working, unless we had completely fucked up our summoners, which isn't likely, as I am a little more used to playing with Masters and Challenger players than this current level, which is only Diamond 4. I mean, it's still early in the season, so there are other Masters players at this level too, but I started the season a little bit late, and we're just catching up at this point, slowly but surely, increasing our MMR. And so, yeah, we saw Ezreal was still dead. Janna was sticking around for the experience. What we ended up doing just 2 seconds prior before we backed was we pushed up the lane as fast as possible and then went back to heal. We could have stuck around, but that would have been suicidal because Ezreal would have been at full HP and Quinn is at so low on HP. I had basically no HP potions. I think I might have had 1 more. It doesn't really matter. If you force somebody out of lane like that and then you end up pretty low on HP, typically what you want to do is push the lane and then back. We had a little bit of a... We didn't really push immediately. That's something we should have done. We should have been pushing immediately, and then immediately backing, but we still manage to get it pushed before Ezreal gets into lane, so that he has to stay back for the minions. Right here, I walk in front of the cannon in between Cannon and Ezreal to see if I can intercept a Mystic shot. Didn't end up being necessary, and then I take a look and see Rengar actually fighting the Master Yi in their jungle. The reason Rengar invaded their jungle was because the Master Yi invaded ours. Cleaver barely missed, unfortunately, but here we go. We still got 3 people here. Master Yi cannot continue the fight, and Quinn's gonna just obliterate these guys. Mundo's damage early on is really, really high. Very, very, very high. It's kind of sucks. This bush was warded. I mean, it wasn't likely I was going to escape anyways, but I would have had a much better chance if that bush was not warded. I would have been able to just run past her. She would not have been able to attack me from the bush. And so that's kind of fine. It was a 3-for-2 trade. We got Nidalee's Ignite and Flash as well out of it. And yeah, Quinn is still alive. Quinn is still farming. We killed their AD carry. We killed their jungler. And here I start saying, hey, let's go for Dragon right now. This is one of the big things that Mundo support is really, really good at, is taking out the jungle objectives. The Cleaver just absolutely obliterates them. The amount of damage, the percentage HP damage is insane versus things like Dragon and Baron. So you have a very good opportunity to take them out. Also, once you hit level 6, and like also because I have run so many HP regeneration like Quints and Seals, that I'm able to heal myself basically back up to full. Also, the Targon's Brace on top of all this. So Quinn pushes up bottom. There's a very low chance that they had any vision of this. I used the Pink Ward just as a precaution. Lyssandra's pushing up on top. This was overall pretty perfect. Pop a couple HP potions, maybe just one, probably just one, and then use Targon's Brace to heal back up to full. And now we have Dragon. We have full control over bottom lane because I got 2 kills and 2 assists. Quinn, I believe, has 1 kill, maybe 2 kills. And we're able to easily trade with them, especially when Ezreal starts attacking me. Take a look at my HP regeneration per second. That's 8.8 right there at level 4. I mean, I think that... Oh, no, sorry. 18.8 with the HP potion. I was going to say maybe it includes the HP potion, but that's not quite the case. So I have essentially 9 HP regeneration per second with all my extra health regeneration from my passive, from my runes and my masteries. And we're in a very, very good spot. I'm completely content with trading with the enemies. Not only do I typically do more damage to them, as long as I get a couple auto attacks off as well, but I also have the better sustain in the long run, which is amazing. So right now, we're pushing up super hard. Jaina's super low, and the fact that Jaina's sticking around this long makes me think that Master Yi is still around here. So we're going to go ahead, push this lane up as fast as possible. We're not worried about a Master Yi gank. He can't really gank us that easily. Quinn is level 6 to their level 4 and level 5. I have my exhaust up. Master Yi probably doesn't even have his first finished item, whether it be Warrior or Devourer. And so yeah, even if we're pushing up this far, we have so many wards out, we can just push up the wave and then try and harass them underneath the turret, as you see me doing. Preventing them from backing, preventing them from healing, and making sure we can continue containing the lane and controlling the lane. Quinn goes and checks for Master Yi with her W, sorry, and since we don't see her, we still don't want to dive because like I'm not level 6, and like the Jaina shields and the heal, the summoner heal, their exhaust would definitely kill us. But we can actually pressure underneath the turret. We walk onto the turret. I'm auto-attacking with my Masochism up, which gives me like an extra 40 attack damage or something along those lines. Probably even more because it scales with the lower HP you have. So that's always pretty lovely, and we're going to continue doing this. Right now, I believe is when Master Yi pops up. Yeah, we see Master Yi briefly just on the top of the screen right there. Just pop out into vision, and we start backing off. If we were still underneath the turret and Master Yi was level 6 with red buff, it was guaranteed that we would not be able to escape from that immediately. But since I just hit my level 6, since we got the vision on Master Yi, because we're able to continue pressuring the lane, like we know when Master Yi is coming in, so we know when we can go in, we know when we can back off. We're basically always ready for it. Right here, we're going to just finish off this turret. Even if Master Yi comes on down in the next 2 seconds, which he does, because he teleports on in, like a big ol' dingle-dongle, we're able to easily fight him, because they are not in a good position. We do so much damage cutting back. My ultimate heals me up so much. The summoner heal heals us up. The exhaust is good to prevent a lot of damage. We wouldn't have need to pop our summoners if Master Yi had not teleported in behind us, but because he did, and because the Janna and the Ezreal were so low on HP, were so low on mana, and because Ezreal, I believe, I don't think I've checked his items yet, but I do believe he went for Tear of the Goddess as his first item. And so Ezreal essentially has 0 damage against us. And yeah, we were able to fend it off, almost get a kill, and then back off ourselves. By the way, also something I haven't mentioned quite yet, but this is something I mention on my stream pretty often, is as soon as you pick up your Sightstone on a support, if you are picking up a Sightstone, which you probably should be, you're going to want to sell the Warding Totem and picking up the Sweeping Lens. An alternative play that you can do as of right now, I don't know if it's going to change in the future or anything of the sort, but you can just buy the wards that you need to sustain the early game and have enough wards out for early game. It'll cost you a bunch of extra money in the long run, but then afterwards you can, instead of getting a Sightstone, you can upgrade the yellow trinket into the Greater Stealth Totem, which will give you the same effect as a Sightstone, pretty much. Not quite exactly the same, but it's very similar, where you can have 3 wards down at one time, and you can maintain all 3 wards the entire time. The Greater Stealth Totem is essentially a Sightstone in a trinket form. The only downside is you need level 9 to get that, so you need to actually be able to have enough vision out for your team up until level 9 without Sightstone, if you want to go that route for support. Alright, I'm coming up now. I did say I wanted to push up top lane with Sion. He's not really letting me use my stacks of my Targon's Brace, unfortunately, but that's okay. I have to worry a little bit about... Oh, what is Riven doing? I have to worry a little bit about Riven using her abilities on me and all-inning me. I believe she's got Ignite, and then on top of Ignite, all of her, like her ultimate, and then her wave clear on the entire minion wave, and all the insane damage that she can do to me. She could have killed me if I had walked into her right there. If she had teleport, perhaps not, but it would still not have been the good decision. Instead, I let Sion tank the turret. I let Riven misuse her abilities. So what the Riven did right there was she got way too overzealous with going in. She got way too overzealous with making stuff happen, trying to make something happen when she had no backup. Right here, Sion dives. I follow up his dive. I don't like this dive. I think it's a bad decision. I end up dying to the turret myself, so it ends up being a 2-for-1. It could have been much better if we just took down the turret and then started going for them. Rengar was coming around anyways. That dive was very forced. Not a big deal. We're still ahead of them. We still have a dragon up on them, and we're going to go, say, immediately, let's go straight down to dragon and take this dragon out once more. Quinn is around there so that the Master Yi's not going to be able to secure it. Riven is top lane, so we don't need to worry about that. Lyssandra's continuously pushing down Ezreal, so we don't need to worry about him coming over. There is basically no chance of them doing dragon. And since we had the pink ward, we would be able to see them and transfer over there to stop him. To stop Master Yi from stealing the dragon, or stop the Master Yi from securing the dragon himself. So, although it was a bad dive on top, and it definitely kept us from having the time to secure dragon immediately, and it's giving them the chance to secure dragon right now, it's we're still in a fine situation. Right now, they didn't have any vision. They just put a trap over. The trap reveals a little bit. We see Riven on down here. I wanted to fight this because I saw Lysandra right there. I didn't realize that the Riven was right on the other side of the Lysandra. That was my fault, but Sion teleports in, and we're able to destroy this team fight right here. Rengar gets a double kill. Right here, Quinn makes a silly mistake. Instead of walking up next to the wall, she walks down to, like, underneath the Nidalee, and then after walking down underneath the Nidalee, she, she fails the vault over the wall. So, small mistake. She could have made it over the wall, but not a big deal in the end of the day. Lysandra chases down Nidalee here, kills Nidalee. It's a little bit close. Maybe Nidalee might have been able to get the takedown on her, or something along those lines, but I trusted Lysandra being able to do her thing. She's shown that she knows what she's doing by pressuring and roaming pretty damn well. She had to go back right now. I'm going to start the blue buff. Actually, sorry, no, I'm going to go do Gromp right now, and then I'm going to start blue buff and give the blue buff to Lysandra. That way, Rengar doesn't need to help Lysandra. Lysandra doesn't need to waste time. There's really no objectives for me to be taking currently anyway. Sion just took down middle, and he's going to be able to get out of there. So, you know what? Let's give Lysandra this blue buff. This is a good objective. Little mini objective. It lets us transition into other objectives much faster because Lysandra doesn't need to waste time here. And I always have my ultimate to heal myself back up to full HP, which I'm going to use approximately right now, and I do. And now since we got Lysandra blue buff, we're basically all grouped up. We're going to start looking to push down a lane, maybe mid lane. Rengar is going to hopefully do something to— oh my god. I forgot about this play. Lysandra goes a little bit gung-ho. A little bit gung-ho. It works in the end of the day, but it was unexpected for her to jump in like that. I realized she could have ulted herself, and she did ultimate herself to keep herself alive, but it was since Quinn and I were running down the other way instead of running into them. I guess we could have looked at Lysandra and seen that Lysandra and Sion were both coming over. And if that were the case, I guess I should have been turning around. That was just my poor map awareness. And yeah, so we get a couple kills. We lose a turret, but we get a turret. Or did we just get the turret? I already forgot. Doesn't matter. Oh, man. So right here, Quinn was taking the blue buff. And while taking the blue buff, Master Yi shows up. Master Yi secures it. And I go over here. I see the Nidalee. I dodge the spear. We got Rengar and Lysandra over here ready to clean this shit on up. Just distracting the enemy Ezreal and the Nidalee and the Master Yi for a while. I really wanted to be able to kill the Master Yi. I would have been able to kill Master Yi over that wall had I not been Janna tornadoed out or Janna ultimated out. I mean, granted, what I'm trying to say is if Janna did not have her ultimate, I mean, the healing would have kept Sion, would have kept Master Yi alive too, so let's not talk about that. But if Janna did not have that ultimate, I would have been able to kill the Master Yi and everything would have been lovely. But life is not that easy, unfortunately. These couple guys are diving right now. That's fine. But in the meantime, it's a much better decision to take out this turret, take out the objective. I could have dived with them and maybe would have killed the Master Yi, but we would have not been able to take down the turret. So this kind of situation is one of those situations where you would rather not go for the kill and instead go for the objective. That's usually the situation, is you want to go for the objective rather than the kill, especially if it is only one kill. Also, we could take a look at the Master Yi. Master Yi had barely any HP and any mana. He didn't really pose any threat that I had to worry about, you know? He wasn't like we didn't have to worry about him going in on us. It would have been a better decision to just take down the turret and like transition to something else, because it was so uncoordinated. Sion locked down Master Yi for a long time, and then like he meditated instead of just running away from the Lysandra. We honestly, if we were on a voice chat together, we probably would have been able to dive that. But since it's a solo queue, it was a little bit smarter to, you know what, maybe hold back and, you know, again, just take the objective. Solo queue is built on objectives. If you can take down the objectives, if you take down the dragons, you take down the Baron and then push with Baron, or you get a 3 to 4 stacks of dragon and start pushing with dragon to get 5 stacks of dragon, you push with dragon, you get a couple kills, you push. That's how you win solo queue games, is you don't let up. You don't want to make these risky plays where, like, for instance, you dive into them. And that wasn't really a risky play, but it did give them the chance to deny us taking that turret, that second tier turret, because we didn't have the same amount of damage. So you want to get that global gold. You want to deny them map presence. You want to be able to roam inside their jungle as much as you want, etc. etc., etc. I take the time to clear out this pink ward instead of just running straight over to my team. They cleaned it up anyways. I was pretty confident in them. Instead, I started trying to push down mid lane. I wanted to take down this turret. I wanted to use my, whatever my W is called. I already forget. Doesn't matter. I wanted to use my W to just take down the minion wave really quickly, but I completely forgot that it's only 35 damage this early. I don't have my Sunfire Cape finished. It's a very slow ticking process right now. So instead, I back off. I let the Ezreal hit me a couple times because I still wanted to get the farm. And then I immediately started going over to Dragon. And right here, I make the stupid decision of face checking this bush, and I get absolutely crushed by Master Yi. However, it does mean we get to secure the dragon for sure, because I distracted the Master Yi, and that was their only chance of actually... That was their only chance of stealing it, was Master Yi jumping over the wall with an Alpha Strike, or walking around with an Alpha Strike. And a smite to take it from us. So, I mean, overall, the play that I made wasn't good. I should have been a lot safer there. But it ended up working in the end of the day. So we got 3 dragons now. That's the extra movement speed boost. That's actually pretty huge, especially against a Nidalee and an Ezreal who really rely on their poke and being able to land their skill shots. See, Riven continues like pushing up a little bit too much. And not really comboing her abilities properly, and because of that, like she's very slow in transitioning her abilities. Because of that, we're able to get like Lissandra W's on her, slowing down other abilities that CC her. And because we just got a couple kills, I say, hey, you know what? We can take down this Baron very easily as long as my team's coming over. Again, Mundo is fantastic, absolutely fantastic at taking down Baron. My ultimate is fantastic for it. Face of the Mountain's fantastic for it. Cleavers do a bunch of percentage HP damage. And as long as I'm tanking this for my team, to begin, everything's pretty good. As you can see, I just get Clairvoyance, or whatever the heck it's called, the trinket that does the Clairvoyance. Rengar misses the smite, but we manage it anyway. So we basically just 3-manned Baron right there. I was very tanky. The Scion is very tanky. The Rengar did a ton of damage. I did a ton of damage. Hell, even the Scion was doing percentage HP damage every time he exploded his shield, which is another reason as to why I was glad I was tanking it, to make sure that Scion could get all of his abilities off and all of the damage off. And right here, my team starts transitioning over to the top side to start getting kills. This is again the very big mistakes for solo queue. These are the biggest mistakes in solo queue, where people don't take the opportunity to push. Right here, I see my team is going in and trying to kill the other people, and I say, you know what, we have Baron right now. We had a wave in mid lane that we could have used. We should have been pushing down middle. I don't tell my team there, like, it's way too late to tell them what to do at this point, or to ask of them to help you at this point. So just let them do their thing, let them dive stupidly, let them make the mistakes, and while they continue distracting the enemy team, let's go take down this turret and maybe take down this inhibitor. Because the enemy team doesn't realize I'm pushing right now, I'm able to take down this turret basically for free. Which is beautiful. Again, these turrets are one of the biggest things you can do to win the game. Taking down turrets, taking down inhibitors, much better than just getting kills. The inhibitor turret is worth like 2 turrets of the outer lane. Of any other lanes, or any other 2 turrets that are not Nexus turrets. Any other 2 turrets that you can get before the inhibitor turret. An inhibitor turret is worth like 2.5 of those. The inhibitor itself, I would say, is worth... it's probably... The inhibitor itself is worth close to Baron, just underneath Baron. Baron is just above that. Having 2 inhibitors down is worth more than Baron. Having 3 inhibitors down is insanely worth. It's like having Baron and Dragon at the same time. Killing 1 Nexus turret is approximately the same as killing 1 inhibitor. Killing both Nexus turrets means that you only need 1 inhibitor to win the game, because you can just bum rush the naked Nexus. There's no defense for it. They don't have any turrets along the way. So let's say you take down middle inhibitor, and then you take down two Nexus turrets immediately afterwards. Well, you can essentially just ignore the outer 2 lanes. Who cares if they're pushing in? They have 0 defense inside their base. You can just bum rush it down, take it out, get some free, get a free win by securing the objectives. And so right there, we get another couple kills on the enemy team, and Scion ultimates down middle, and we're all rushing down middle to take down that inhibitor because we're able to do so. I still have a little bit of Baron left, but it's about to disappear in like 2 seconds, so it doesn't really matter. I bypassed blue. If blue were up, I would have taken it. I see my team kind of doing their own thing. Someone's going down to Master Yi, which I guess is a fine decision. Master Yi pushes really fast. So Quinn's going down there. I'm hoping that Quinn is able to actually 1v1 the Mastery. It's likely, but not a guarantee. Mastery is pretty insane. And we take a look at the minimap, we also see Nidalee and Janna, and so there's really no way that Quinn can do anything against that. Lissandra and Sion are still pushing down middle. At this point in the time, as soon as you take that middle inhibitor, and like you already have vision inside their base, you have vision along the entire way, you got wards in their jungle, there's really no point in going to mid lane unless you want to continue getting kills, which is fine. It's solo queue. I'm not going to hate on people for going for kills in solo queue. If they want to have a little bit of fun, they can have a little bit of fun. This game is pretty much a victory for us already. It's very hard to toss this game out the window, although it is possible. So, I say I'm going to push up top lane, and I do so pushing up top lane, and then I fuck up against Master Yi. I flash when he alpha strikes, and I don't use my ultimate early enough. Luckily, Sion still gets the kill. If we had just immediately transitioned into top lane, like Quinn could have gone bottom, but Sion and Lissandra and I, all three of us could have been top lane. We could have had that inhibitor, while the Quinn was like 1v3ing bottom. And they would have had to back after bottom. So it would have been a better decision for everybody else to come up with me. It's just, again, it's solo queue. When you're this far ahead, people tend to want to have fun. But that, again, if tending to want to have fun, that is typically how you lose these games, is when the enemy player continues making picks, when a Master Yi ends up 10-7, and all of a sudden he has a ton of damage and a ton of durability because he's going for like a Warmogs or a Randuin's or something like that, and you can no longer burst him. Yeah, that's how you throw games right there. Again, this game is so far ahead for us. We got 4 dragons, we got control of the Baron, we got wards basically everywhere. We got the inhibitor down. We don't have the wards anywhere at this point in time, but we have enough warding and presence with our warding to maintain the vision inside the jungle. We got some good counter to their vision on top of that. So yeah, I shouldn't have even taken out that crab, to be honest. I should have just immediately rushed down to bottom lane with Quinn and pushed down this turret. I just saw that it was already being taken, and so I started it myself. No biggie. Now we got 4 people dropping down to bottom. We're pushing down bottom while Sion is distracting middle. They have to force an engage on us right now, like all 5 of the enemy team on us immediately down here if they wanted to do anything. I think some of them are dead, though. I wasn't... Okay, they're either dead or healing. Yeah. But if they had all 5 up, the fact that Sion was mid would have given them an opportunity to take us out on bottom lane. But instead, because they didn't have all 5 up, Sion distracting and pushing in the super minions that they had to deal with, while we push down the other wave to get some more super minions pushing in, is pretty damn huge. And then we just go ahead and end up diving them. Lissandra has a fantastic engage. One of the best things you can do as Lissandra is to use your E in, you use your Frozen Claw in, and then ultimate somebody. That's exactly what they did. And then Quinn managed to 1v1 the Master Yi, which was kind of to be expected. I came over with my ultimate with the face of the mountain just to make sure that it was okay, and we just end the game right there. Pretty simple as that. Worst comes to worst, let's say we threw. Let's say we made some more mistakes and we threw. Well, we would have had 5 dragons. I think we went into the chat, like, oh, even if we throw at this point, we're going to have 5 dragons, and it's going to be game over at that point anyways. So yeah, we controlled the first 4 dragons, even if we threw the game super, super hard. That's one of the best things that you can do, as well as, and why dragons are so important, because if you get a little bit ahead, fantastic. You control the game, even if they start coming back. The fact that the 5th dragon and Baron make it, they're so much more effective for ending the game, the new Baron and the new dragon, that you can control those while you're still a little bit ahead, even if you're losing the team fights. And then as soon as you get that Baron, you don't even need to team fight. You can just push with the minions, and the minions are much more difficult to clear. Let's say you have an inhibitor down, you're pushing down a 2nd inhibitor at the time. They have to send somebody to stop the super minions while you go ahead and push with the Baron minions, which again are very, very hard to kill because of the extra damage reduction they get. Those are all pretty huge, and again, if you have 4 dragons and you start losing team fight after team fight, and then you still manage to secure that 5th dragon, Well, then all of a sudden, the team fight is going to turn around immediately. The stats from all the previous 4 dragons are now doubled. The true damage, 50 damage per second for 3 seconds. That's pretty insane. You don't even need to full engage. You can just hit them with a 2 or 3 abilities over the course of 15 seconds, and then all of a sudden, well, one person on their team's at a quarter HP, another person's at half, maybe a third person's at a half, maybe one person's still at full, but they can no longer defend. And you can just either dive the last 2 people who are still underneath the turret, or you can just push down the turret very easily because they're going to have to give it up. The new dragon and the new baron make comebacks so much more difficult if you're losing really, really hard, really early. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. It's give and take. I always liked to be able to come back from like short lost games because the enemy team was throwing, and you just continue picking up kills and picking up kills, but yeah, now all they need to do is get that 5th dragon or take Baron and then not dive. And as long as they're still a little bit ahead of you with Baron, and you really got no chance. It's very more objective control than it used to be, which is pretty awesome. Anywho, for runes and masteries, I believe, actually, let me go load that up real fast. I don't remember what I used for runes and masteries. Instead, I'll go up to some matchups to begin before I actually look it up. Matchups, typically you want to be up against squishy characters, squishy ranged characters, like Janna, like Nami, those kinds of guys. Mundo is pretty squishy early, and if you can just push up the wave and maybe land some cleavers on them, and then get up in their face with your masochism, your E, then you're auto-attacking for like 100, your cleavers are hitting for like anywhere between 80 to 100. You're doing a lot of damage as Mundo. He definitely has a lot more issues against characters such as, oh, I don't know, Leona, and perhaps even Morgana. Morgana's give and take. It depends. The Black Shield's kind of annoying, and if they bring Ignite, then you're in a very bad spot, but Morgana's still pretty squishy. But yeah, overall, if the enemy team is squishy, the enemy bot lane is squishy, doesn't have a lot of aggression in them. If they're playing Ezreal, you can usually assume they're not going to play aggressive. Oh, quick tip, by the way. If you do play Ezreal, what you need to do, I see this way too often where Ezreals do not do this, and they just try to use their Mystic Shot for the harass and for the farming. Push up the wave. And this is for most bottom lanes, also, for most bottom lanes. With Ezreal, you have to push up the wave. You have to be able to use your E aggressively. You have to be able to use your W on the enemy target and then use your E to jump into your own W to give yourself an attack speed boost. That kind of stuff. And that is what Ezreal does to win lanes. If you take a look at Hayam Gosu, you'll always see him trying to push it up. You'll never see him like sitting back or trying to sit back and use his mystic shots to farm. It's probably the biggest difference between the high-level Ezreal players and the lower-level Ezreal players. And at this point, I would say most Ezreal players are very low-level Ezreal players in comparison. They do not play him very well. Anywho, enough on that. That was just a little rant that I had to get off of my chest because I just see so many Ezreals, and it's so frustrating watching them just last hit with Mystic Shot, get pushed into the turret, and end up doing nothing with a Tear of the Goddess for the first 25 minutes of the game. That's a little bit frustrating. Anywho, back to the matchups. Characters like Leona, who can go super, super aggressive into you, are very hard to deal with when they have something like Ignite. And if they are paired with somebody like Graves. It's primarily the AD carry that's Mundo's biggest issue. If they get someone like Graves, who can really hit you hard and move around you, somebody like Lucian who can hit you hard and move around very, very easily and dodge your and just get out of melee range of you, then Mundo support has a pretty big issue getting on top of them. However, oftentimes you'll find that most AD carries are assuming like, oh, I'm just gonna go for this enemy 200 HP AD carry, and I'm gonna ignore the Mundo. Meanwhile, Mundo is hitting you for like 200 damage with the cleaver plus masochism, one single auto attack, and then another 100 damage, then another 100 damage, maybe burning agonies on that's ticking for like, oh, I don't know, 25, 26 damage per second. And then once the cleaver's back up and you're just constantly getting CC'd and hit and slowed, and let's say the Mundo's got exhaust, well, you can't really ignore the Mundo. Yeah, if you're playing against the Mundo support, you have to be hitting the Mundo down, even if Mundo is very, very good at maintaining his HP with his insane HP regeneration. Anywho, I have the runes and the masteries up right now. Let's go take a look at what I run. So, for my marks on Mundo support, I run with, I believe it's full split penetration reds. Yeah, full split penetration reds because all of his abilities do magic damage, but he also has a very huge amount of physical damage from his E. All of his abilities. His Q and his W do magic damage, but his E just is a attack buff, giving him extra base damage. So he's good with armor penetration as well as magic penetration. I like that. Alternatively, you could probably run attack speed, maybe just armor penetration, maybe just spell penetration. But I've had some good action with the dual penetration. It makes it harder for them to itemize against me. For my seals, the yellows, I run 5 armor seals to get to... I don't know how much base armor it is, but just to have enough to absorb a bunch of the incoming damage from their auto attacks. The extra armor seals, having like at least 5 is typically pretty good against supports who do not run any AD on their rune page or masteries, because they'll start hitting you for like maybe 30 HP because of all your armor. And then I also run 4 health regeneration seals for, I believe it's like 2.24 health regeneration per 5 seconds, and then it combos with my quintessences, which give me a total of, after everything is said and done, hang on, 2.06 health regen? What are you talking about? Oh god, this is a little bit different. I think this is per second, maybe. But yeah, 2.7 per quintessence times 3, that's 8.1 plus the 2.24. Overall, I guess it is 2.06 health regeneration per second. I assumed that it would count in per 5 seconds, but this is telling me per second, which really threw me off. I wasn't sure if it was updated properly. And then for my glyphs, I go for the magic resist, flat magic resist. This just gives me, this is a toss-up between flat magic resist and magic resist per level, really. There's not really any other option that you can go here. Flat magic resist just gives you more lane presence early on, and the magic resist per level is just better late game, as obviously. And this is just like a standardized rune page that I use for every single Mundo support matchup. No matter what, they're always going to have some form of AP damage on their team. And if they don't, you know what? It doesn't really matter. You're not going to be running any armor on the blues anyways, so that's completely fine. Alright, let's go take a look at the masteries. Just got to find them real quick. Oh boy. Where you at, masteries? Alright, here we go. So, I put 2 points in recovery for an extra 2 health regeneration per 5 second, which is really good on Mundo because his abilities cost HP. 2 points in block to absorb incoming champion basic auto attacks. And 1 point in unyielding to also reduce incoming champion auto attacks by another 2. So in total it reduces 4 damage from every single enemy champion auto attack. I also have Veteran Scars because Mundo scales very well with health to give me 36 health, and also to get me towards Juggernaut, which gives me plus 3% maximum HP. After that, I run with 3 hardiness, sorry, which gives me 5 armor, 3 resistance to get 5 magic resist, to just give me the extra base stats early, because Mundo, this is something most people don't remember or don't know. Mundo is very squishy early on. Because his abilities cost HP, because he is reliant on his HP regeneration, you can get bursted down very, very easily. And that's also why I say characters like Leona with Ignite are typically the hardest to go up against. And that's also why I go for 21 in defense and get all the extra armor and extra health regeneration, the extra health, the extra resistances to auto attacks and that kind of stuff. Alright, so we get the hardiness and resistance, 3 points in each. Afterwards, you get reinforced armor, reduces damage taken by critical strikes by 10%. This is, I think, just like a filling one. You could go for evasive if you want the area of effect reduction. I don't think that matters as much as reinforced armor, because you don't care about AoE damage as Mundo, because you heal up so much. And AoE damage is less likely to hit you and more likely to do less damage, whereas critical strikes reduced by 10%, that's usually more likely to keep you alive than anything else. You could also instead go for swiftiness, which reduces the effectiveness of slows by 10%. I don't know how I feel about that. You've got your tenacity from your W anyways, and worst comes to worst, you can just pick up Boots of Swiftness. I mean, you could go... Did I say Swiftiness? It's called Swiftness. You could just go for Swiftness if they got a lot of slows on their team, but again, I'm just too lazy to switch up my mastery page in between games. So feel free to fiddle around as much as you want with it. Instead, I just continue using Reinforced Armor, and then I also have Perseverance, which is more HP regeneration per second based off your missing HP. Afterwards, you get Second Wind, which is just fantastic because Mundo scales so well with health regeneration, and this increases your health regeneration the lower HP you are when you're below 25% HP. And then, yeah, Tenacious, which gives us some more tenacity, 15% tenacity, in fact. This is really, like, it's useful. It's all around pretty good. Not required, but there's not really any other options in the game that you could really want. And you could also go 30 in defense to get extra points in things like Legendary Guardian to give you the extra armor and magic resist. Get that swiftness use, maybe get Oppression or Enchanted Armor or something like that. Those are all fine decisions, but I just picked mine for early game, and then I also wanted to have the extra damage on Mundo. So I run, on offense, 9 points. I get Double-Edged Sword to increase my damage output by a little bit. It's really just a space filler. I don't care too much about Fury. I get 4 points in Sorcery because you are so reliant on your Cleaver and your ultimate. It's pretty good to get that extra cooldown reduction. And then I put 3 points into Brute Force just in order to get Martial Mastery, which gives me +4 attack damage early on, which gives me a little bit more offensive power. This is just something I prefer. It's more of an all-around kind of build. Again, alternatively, you could just skip all the points in offense, or only put 4 points in Sorcery, or even, I guess, 4 points in Fury. The attack speed's pretty good on him, too. I just prefer Sorcery for Mundo. But I find that the Legendary Guardian, although it's very good, I would rather be able to have more kill pressure in lane to be able to force somebody out of lane. And the extra 4 attack damage helps me do that. The extra 2% damage, which is, it seems kind of negligible. It helps me do that. Early game, every single, like, extra 1 to 2 damage you can get off is pretty damn good. So yeah, that's my video on Support Mundo. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed playing Support Mundo. He is very, very effective. I actually convinced some people on my stream to play some Support Mundo, Nonning in particular. And he said that he's had so much more success playing as support, when he plays support as Support Mundo, which I find to be pretty insane. But you know what? That's awesome. I'm so happy for him, and I hope that you guys can have the same kind of experience. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Mundo will go where he pleases. Mundo goes this way. Mundo.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Double kill. Mundo goes this way. An enemy has been slain.
Go this way. To Mundo!
An enemy has been slain. Rampage. Shut down. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Has destroyed a turret.
Mundo goes this way. Mundo will go where he pleases. Come to Mundo!
Enemy has been slain. Rampage.
Mundo goes this way.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has unstoppable. Double kill. You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain. Double kill.
Come to Mundo! Mundo will go where he pleases. Mundo goes this way.
Slain.
Come to Mundo!
Has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Come to Mundo!
Is unstoppable.
Mundo will go where he pleases! Mundo goes this way!
These inhibitors respawn.
Come to Mundo! Mundo goes this way!
Your team has destroyed.
Come to Mundo!
Your team has destroyed.
Come to Mundo!
What do you see up there?
Mundo goes this way!
An enemy has been slain.
Mundo will
An
go
ally
where
has
he
been
pleases!
slain. Enemy killing spree.
Come to Mundo!
Has been slain.
Mundo will go where he pleases! Mundo goes this way! Mundo will go where he pleases!
Enemy rampage.
Mundo goes this way!
An enemy has been
Mundo will go where he pleases!
slain.
Need eyes on him.
Come to Mundo!
The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon. The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon.
Wrong for you! Mundo goes this way!
Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down.
Mash!
Killing spree.
please.